But, B. Holmes, we had some breaking news, okay? I don't know how breaking it is and how definitely not surprising, but our boy, Dan Mullen, he's out.
Coach Mullen.
Was it last week when I asked you, hey, if by the time we finish recording this podcast, will Dan Mullen still be the coach? Okay, that was 2 weeks ago. And we were like, yeah, we'll think we'll get through. Well, then last week, he had a nail-biter against the almighty Sanford team. They had an epic locker room celebration after that huge win for the program. I don't know if any of you saw that on social media that are listening right now. But they had they were partying it up in the locker room after that big win. And then Saturday, they got beat by, was it South Carolina? No.
South Carolina,
Missouri. Man. I'm tripping.
No,
Missouri. South Carolina beat Auburn.
Missouri, because the coach did he threw the shade with the lightsaber because of Dan Mullen's victory last year in the press conference dressed up like Darth Vader.
Yes. That guy.
He kept receipts, man.
Drinkwitz. That guy's a dork, though. I mean, shout out to Eli Drinkwitz. And yes, Arkansas plays Missouri. And yes, he's 1-0 against Arkansas. But that guy is a dork. And I'm sorry, but I'm saying it like that's just my opinion. I apologize if that offends anybody. No, I don't really, but whatever. Back to Mullen. He's fired. I want to give you, B. Holmes, my little coaching carousel before the coaching carousel really gets up and rolling. Okay, if you follow me on Twitter at It's Trey Smith, I put this up on Sunday afternoon, and here's just some thoughts for you, B. Holmes. You don't even have to comment on it if you don't want to, because obviously we could have an entire episode just talking about this. But here's my carousel: Florida, Hugh Freeze; USC, James Franklin; LSU, Mel Tucker; Penn State, Luke Fickell; Miami Hurricanes, even though it's not officially open yet, but it will be, Lane Kiffin. And I know there's already been a lot of smoke around that starting to surface, but go back a couple months ago, and you will hear on the Blue Bloods College Game Time podcast a hot take that Lane Kiffin will be the next head coach at one of the struggling Florida schools. And I'm not even so sure that the Gators don't make a run for him. So here's the thing. If Ole Miss wants to keep him, they better be ready to come pretty close to doubling his salary. And I don't know if they've got the pockets to do that, because right now Jimmy Sexton is about to have a field day with his golden boy coach who's about to go win the Sugar Bowl. Yes, I believe Ole Miss is either going to be the Sugar Bowl champs or whatever New Year's Six Bowl they go to, they're going to win. Even though I don't think the Mississippi State game is going to be as easy for them as maybe some fans may think. I don't think Ole Miss fans are thinking that. They're like, look, it's rivalry. Anything can happen. Yeah. But I think your typical just college football fans probably going, Ole Miss is going to roll them. I think that'll probably be a better game than some are thinking. Vegas has them
as the underdog, though.
Who does? Say that again.
I think Vegas has Ole Miss. I think Vegas has Ole Miss as the underdog.
So is it in Starkville then? It has to be. It's got to be.
I think so. Tommy Brooker, shout out to Tommy Brooker. He did text me about it yesterday. He's like, I think we, Ole Miss is the underdog, +1.
Vegas really likes Mike Leach, though.
They're in Starksville.
They really like Mike Leach. Anyways, I do think Ole Miss wins that, and then the price will go up for Lane Kiffin. Sexton's going to use the LSU job. He's going to use the Florida job. He's going to use the Miami job whenever it comes open, which I think we all know it's going to just up the price for Kiffin. And I don't know what Ole Miss's financial situation is. Maybe they do got the pockets to come in and double his salary if that's what they want to do. But if you look at Lane's career, he's always looking for the next thing, and I just don't see him staying at Ole Miss. But continuing with the carousel, Ole Miss then hires Coach Napier, Billy Napier, who I think would be a tremendous fit for the Rebs. I've actually got Justin Fuente, who was just fired by Virginia Tech. I think he could end up at TCU, right? He was the former offensive coordinator there when they won the Rose Bowl. He was kind of the one credited with developing Andy Dalton and doing all of that. So I could foresee a tie there. I think what's going to happen is TCU is going to miss on a lot of their like top people they want. And then he's going to end up coming in and probably doing a good job at TCU. And then my grand finale of it all is I still think on some way Urban Meyer ends up at Texas.
I don't from the start of the season.
Yes, and I don't think that Texas is looking to get rid of Sark. I mean, they might be, but I don't think they are. I think they're more than willing to give him his next year, let him get his recruits in, yada, yada, yada. I went on a rant about Texas and their problems last week. But I think if Urban Meyer comes available and he doesn't end up at one of these other top tier jobs that are currently available, I think they move on from Sark knowing they can go get him. So that's kind of how my early projected coaching carousel. And I think a lot of those names could be good fits at those universities. The only thing with Miami and Kiffin, I don't know what Miami's willing to fork out financially. To be honest, that's kind of been a knock on their program.
I don't think they're going to want to go head-to-head with Ole Miss. Ole Miss has that deep Southern plantation money, man. They got money. They got money. I don't think Miami can compete.
I don't think Miami can compete, but there's also something to be said. I'm not going to say they can't compete because I do think Miami has the money. It's just not motivated right now. As far as they got some, there's some money there. It's just not motivated. They're wanting to see the university is really willing to commit to the program and get it back to what it once was. And I think if all those stars align, they could compete. They could compete with Ole Miss. I don't think Ole Miss has that much money. Or not do they have it? I don't know that they're willing to spend that much, especially when it's pretty well known Kiffin loves South Florida. And the inroads that he made the 3 years that he was at Florida Atlantic, like he could literally go build a national championship roster without even having to leave the state. He wouldn't even have to get on a plane probably. He could go build a national championship roster, like just literally driving in his car on the different hotbeds just in South Florida. Because that talent hasn't changed. It's just going to places like Georgia, Alabama, Clemson. It's going. LSU. Yeah, it's just not all going to Miami like it was in the years when they were. So that will be an interesting story to watch. I'm also wondering if the Jimbo Fisher to LSU, if there's not a little bit more smoke around that, then I know Fisher, I'd be stupid to leave A&M and I got the number one class and blah, blah, blah. I could foresee him ending up at LSU. I could see Kiffin ending up at LSU. That one's another interesting one to watch.
Yeah.